Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us in this webinar. My name is Eduard Sànchez, and I am the CEO of MICROPTIC. Today, I will talk about the main features and new improvements of our CASA systems. During my presentation, if you have any doubt, you can write on the chat button that you will find on the top of your screen, and I will answer all the questions at the end of my presentations. So let's start. MICROPTIC is a company specialized in male infertility markets since 1989. We have the ISO 9001 for quality management, general quality management of the company, and the ISO 13485 for medical device. And we have installed almost 2,000 CASA systems in 97 countries. Okay, and just to remember for the people that doesn't know what is a CASA system means computer-aided semen analysis, and is a system that automatically analyzes the different semen parameters following the WHO criteria. Okay, in MICROPTIC we have different kinds of systems. The complete system, that is the main system that has the motility and concentration analysis, the vitality, the morphology, the DNA fragmentation, leukocytes, and a chromosome reaction. Also, now we have the all-in-one system that it's 100% automatic, the new SCA scope. In that case, the system do the motility and concentration, vitality, morphology, DNA fragmentation, and leukocyte analysis. But also we have other complementary systems, the SCA capture, the SCA editor, and the SCA viewer. And all these systems can be linked with the SCA data share. In that case, we can have the SCA database in a server, and all the systems will see the same results from any of the systems. Also now we have a share folder where it will save all the sessions. So from any of the systems, I can see exactly the same analysis and the videos and everything from all the places. And finally, we have a SCA service. In that case, it's for connecting to the laboratory information system. So the laboratory information systems will send the analysis to be done. All the SCA systems do the analysis and come back the results to the laboratory information systems. So in that case, everything is connected. Some compatible laboratory systems that now we have in the market, and it's 100% compatible. Here you can see some of them. Some of them are specialized in IVF centers, others are general hospital labs. And how it works, the laboratory information system first sends to the SCA system the sample ID, the patient information, and some other sample information, for example, which analysis I want to do, or the volume, or other characteristics of the sample. Then the SCA system performs all the analysis and send back the analysis results. Also, it's possible to send reports, images, and videos to the laboratory information system. And everything here works with the HL7 protocol, that is a standard protocol for hospital systems. So, as a summary, here in this table, you can see what each system, SCA system, can do. For example, here you can see that SCA scope can create patient samples, everything, can do everything. The SCA evolution, that is the full version, also can do everything. In that case, the SCA capture cannot analyze fields, it's just to capture and send from the capture to the main system. And this is a good option. The capture is a good option for laboratories that has a lot of different labs, satellite labs, that they don't want to buy a CASA system because it's more expensive. So they buy this SCA capture and it sends just the images and videos to do the analysis in the main lab. Also, this SCA capture cannot edit or validate the analysis. So then we have the SCA editor. The SCA editor is the system that can do can edit and validate the analysis. And finally, the SCA viewer, that is a free software that is just for see the results and the analysis and print reports. This you can install in any computer that you have in your lab. And as I said, it's free. So it's a good option for the doctor, for example, to see the analysis. And the difference between the SCA scope and the SCA evolution, all can do more or less the same analysis. In SCA scope, it's not possible to do the acrosome reaction because it's necessary fluorescence, and the SCA scope has no fluorescence. And in the SCA evolution, it's not possible to do the pH analysis and agglutinations, and this is only something that it's possible to do with the SCA scope. Also, both systems can do functional tests like mucus penetration analysis and hyperactivation analysis. Now, the last version that I am presenting here is the most stable to date. Okay, so there is no more unexpected crashes. So this is very important for an IVD device. Use less computer memory. So in that case, to connect different systems, it's better because the sessions are not very big. So it's easy to share the sessions, and it's faster to do everything. So it's a good system. And now the connection with other SCA systems and the list has been improved. So it's easy to use and to configure. If I come back to the previous diagram, I can see here the SCA data share. Okay, now in this 6.5 version, there is a new way to save and load the analysis sessions. Before, for the persons that has the system before, you know that the system save the results and one image into the database, but all the sessions will be saved independently in different folders. So it's difficult sometimes to remember where are the session files, the analysis files. And if you want to open from other systems, it's difficult. Now, everything is saved automatically, so it's transparent to the customer. So it's easy to open these sessions from any of the SCA systems. By default, the system saves the complete analysis. Okay, so here we have in the settings where all the sessions will be saved. And also these sessions, can you check here and say when you want to delete, for example, after 90 days or you don't want to delete. These sessions are big files, so you can make a backup or you just delete after 7 days or whatever you want. Okay, so let's start doing a demo of the SCA capture that, as I said, it's the system that you use in satellite labs just to capture the images and send to the main SCA system. The first thing that I have to do is select the user. All the users will be the same in all the systems. So in that case, I select the capture and start the system. Here is the login. Okay, so here is the main window where I can select the reference, the clinical history number, and if the system is connected with the HL7 with the list, all the samples will appear here on the right. So for example, if I select the first sample, here I have all the information of the patient. It's possible to check the information if it's correct. So if I press here, I have the information of the patient. Also, it's possible if I am administrator to change the optional fields. For example, if I do double click, I can write here, for example, address or wife name or whatever I want. So in all the systems will change at the same way. So once everything is correct, the first thing that I have to do in the capture is check if the volume is correct and all the other macro and microscopic data. So for example, if the volume is 3 milliliters per milliliter and I check everything here, then I go to results and I will start to capture the motility and concentration of the sample. So I start motility module. Here I select fresh. We will start with the fresh sample. Okay, so here I press analyze. I prepare the sample, I put in the microscope, and once there, I just press analyze to capture the number of fields that it's in the configuration or the number of spermatozoa. In that case, for example, I have to capture 5 fields or 500 sperms. So I change every time in the microscope, change field and capture. And the systems do the analysis, but it doesn't show the results. So the good thing of the capture is that all the fields are analyzed. At the moment I arrive to 5 fields, it says it's okay. And here I have the 5 fields. As you can see, there is no results. But for example, in that case, it says that the concentration of this field is not consistent with the others. So in the capture, I can delete the field if something is in red. For example, here, I can delete the field. Or also I can check, I can do double click, and I can check if all the sperms that are detected are good or not. I can play, see if everything is good. For example, if there is something that is not detected, I can add sperms here, or I can add directly in the main system later. So for example, I can add here, okay. And once it's finished, I just press save and close, and the session will be sent automatically to the shared folder. So in the main system, I will see this session to reanalyze later. Also, in the capture, it's possible to not only do the fresh sample, but also capacitation, swim up or gradient, and I can do the analysis. So at the moment I start, here I can see in preparation the different preparations. This is also a new version 6.5 that is not only fresh and post. I can also configure other preparations. For example, here, fresh after 3 hours or post after 24 hours. Okay, so in that case, I select post. I can put the treated volume, the post-treated volume, and analyze. And the same as the other one, I capture 5 fields or to arrive 500 sperms. The system do the analysis. This is exactly the same. And everything, once finished, it will be saved directly in the main system. Okay, so I finish. I have all the fields captured. I press save and close, and everything will be sent to the main system. And for example, I also want in the capture side do the vitality. So I start vitality, I do the preparation, I put in the microscope, and when I press analyze, the system checks where are the sperm. They do the system do the analysis, but it doesn't show what are the results. So at the same way that in motility and concentration, if something is not captured, I can add here, or I can add later in the main system. For example, here I can say this is dead, and this will be analyzed, and everything is here. Here I should capture the number of fields that is necessary, but the same. When I press save and close, everything goes to the shared folder, and after it will be possible to open it from the main system. And also here in the capture, there is an option to, for example, if I want to do mark test, I can use a counter. So if I go here in this field, I do double click, it opens the counter. This is a manual counter. Using the 0 or point, I can count looking directly in the microscope and do a counting, manual counting. But the good thing is that if I, for example, I say this is a mark test doing EGA, and when I save, it puts here directly the results, and the results will be sent directly to the main system. Also, all the comments, for example, I can put a comment. This is from a capture. Okay, everything when I save, it saves everything in a file, and I can open later from the main system. Okay, now the files from the SCA capture has been saved here in the share folder, and I will analyze these files from the SCA full system. The same as the capture, the first thing I have to do is select the user I want to use. For example, in that case, I will use the analyst and start. Now here in the main system, it will appear this icon that has this notification. That means that something from a capture arrived. So it's possible to do the analysis of these sessions. So when I press here, I can see all the sessions that has been captured in a capture system, and I can reanalyze here. So for example, if I open this session, that is the motility fresh that I captured before, when I open, I see all the results automatically captured and all the concentration, the motile, everything. And the good thing also is that I can go to one field and check if the analysis is correct. If something is not correct, I can modify. Okay, I can check all the different fields and if everything is good or no. And when I finish, I say close. And in that case, all the results will be saved in that session. And do the same for the other sessions, for motility post and the vitality that I captured before in the capture system. So I can do like that, close if I don't want to verify if everything is correct, or normally you will have to check, but also after it's possible that the validator do that. Okay. So in that case, everything is analyzed. When I open again the sample, here you can see that everything, the motility has been captured and analyzed, the vitality, and also the fresh and the post. So I have the results from everything. Now, for example, in that main system, I want to do the DNA fragmentation. So it's possible to add the DNA fragmentation in that sample. So what I do is do the preparation and everything and analyze, capture the different fields, okay, to arrive to 500 to 100 sperms, the same. And when I finish, I just press close and everything will be save and close, will be saved in that sample. So in that case, I have all the analysis of motility that has been captured in the capture system, DNA fragmentation that has been captured here in the main system. And now, for example, I want to do the morphology, but I will do it in the scope. Okay, so in that case, let's go to the scope. As the other systems, the same. I select first which user I want to use. In that case, for example, I will select also the analyst, put password if there is a password. Okay, and the system is ready to start the analysis of different sample of different analyses here. For example, motility and concentration, morphology, vitality, DNA fragmentation, and leukocytes. As I said, I want to do the morphology of this sample that I already did some analysis. So I select the sample. Here everything is ready, and I press start. I put the sample in the scope and press start. So now here the system starts the analysis. In the scope, the first thing that do is searching for the fields to find the sperms with the 10 times objective. And then when it finds 100 sperm, it changed to the 60 times objective and analyze one by one. So now it found 100 sperm. Now it goes one by one, capturing each sperm and analyzing the acrosome, head, midpiece, and tail. Okay, in that case, that is a demo. I just put 10 sperms. Normally, it should be 100 sperms to do the analysis, or 200. Everything it's possible to configure. At the moment that the system arrives to the number of sperms that I want to analyze, it finishes. It gives me the result, like here. In that case, in the scope, it's also possible to open the analysis and check if everything is correct. And it opens the same screens that in the SCA full version. Okay, so here I can check if everything is correct. And at the moment I press save analysis, it saves everything in the database. So later it will be possible to see this analysis from the main system or also from the editor or the viewer. Here also, if I press search and I select the sample that I have been doing the analysis, as you can see, I have the fresh analysis results, the post-treated results, the morphology, and the DNA fragmentation and the vitality. Also here in the scope, the system recommends me to do the leukocyte analysis because the round cells in the motility and concentration analysis in fresh, it's 1 million per milliliter. So that's why the system recommends me to do the leukocytes. So I can do it here or in the other systems. Also from here, it's possible to open the analysis, for example, of motility and check if everything is correct. So from all the systems, I can always see the analysis and also the videos and everything. Okay, as you can see. So from here, also it's possible to see different reports. In that case, I can see the summary report. Okay. Here you see all the results. Here it says that it's not validated because to remove this label, I have to validate the sample that you will see later how I do it. But here you can see the different results and the different images. Okay. So from the scope, I have done the morphology. In this version, it's also possible to validate the analysis and samples. This is optional, it's not necessary to validate everything, but if you want to have a person that validates the analysis, you have a role that it's validate user, that it's possible to do that. At the moment that you do the validation, will be not possible to modify anything from this sample, so will be blocked. Also, when you validate the sample, everything, all the results, images, and reports will be sent to the laboratory information system, and not validated to validate the label will be removed from the report. Okay, so now I start with the SCA editor that I will use to do the validation. It's not necessary to be just the editor. Also, it's possible to do the validation with the SCA full system or the SCA scope. When I start the editor, the same. I select the user I want to use. In that case, I will select this validator user that has the rights to validate samples. Okay, so I start the system. Okay, I see the same interface. I select the sample that I have been do the analysis. Now you can see that I have motility, concentration, morphology, DNA fragmentation, all the analysis. And I have this button here that says validate. When I press this button, I see here all the analysis that has been done in this sample. For example, if I want to do the validation of the last analysis, the morphology, I press here, I open the analysis. And in that case, it opens the analysis that has been done in the scope. Okay, so I see all the analysis. And here in the morphology, there is a new utility, is this edit button here, that when I press, I can see all the sperms and an easy way to change if something is not correctly analyzed. So, for example, I can select the sperm, and if something is not good, I can just change if it's macro or whatever. So I can check here all the results and just pressing if it's not correct. Also, in this edit sperm dialog, there is a new utility that it's the abnormality index. This what do is classify from the most normal to the most abnormal sperm. And normally, if there is a sample that has a lot of things that are not sperms, you will find here at the end all the particles that are abnormal, and it's easy to just go to the sperms that are not good and delete. Okay, so you can see in one screen all the analysis and all the results. Okay, once I modify everything or check that everything is correct, I can go here and I press validate and close. So this validates the sample saying that it's correct and check the validation who do it and at the time. So the traceability now it's done. Okay. Also, I can check the motility. I can open the session. And in that case, I can check if everything is correct. Okay, double click. And from the editor also, for example, I can check if the round cells are correctly analyzed. If something is not correctly analyzed, here you can see in blue the round cells. and also the functional test mucus penetration. So all the sperms that has the square in blue are sperms that can penetrate the mucus. Also in the post-analysis, I can check this hyperactive and I will see all the sperms that are hyperactive. Okay, so I can check if everything is correct. Also, there is a new utility here in the 6.5 that is if, for example, I draw this measure tool, or I draw, for example, a circle or whatever, here there is this button that it's export the current field. So in that case, I can export in PNG, PMP, or JPEG exactly the image that I have here. Okay, this is a new utility in version 6.5. Also a new utility, it's if I press double click here, I can see the sperm, and there is 3 different options to export. I can export in a report, normal report. Okay, this is as before, the sperm, one sperm in our report. But also now there is the copy info with here, and this is good when I copy to paste in Excel. So now it's possible to go to, for example, sperm 56 and copy without header and copy paste in Excel. So in that way, I just copy in Excel the sperms that I want. Okay. Then when everything is correct here, I can press validate and close. Okay. And I can do the same for the other samples. If, for example, I think that everything is good, I can validate the sample. And at the moment I do that, now the sample is not possible to modify anymore. It's possible also to say invalidate if I want to add some analysis. But now when I press the report here, it's the full report. Now it doesn't say not validated label, so I can see everything with images, and it's also possible to customize. So this is the full report. Okay, so everything is done. Also in this version, the delete button, it's easy to identify each sample. Also, it's possible to open before to delete to be sure that the sample you want to delete, it's the analysis you want to delete, it's the correct one, or you can delete the sample directly. And finally, now that I have all the sample analyzed and I have everything, I can use the SCA viewer to see all the analysis, all the results, the reports, and everything from this free version of the SCA that I can install in any computer that I want in the laboratory to see this analysis. And finally here, the same, I have all the users. Now I will use the user viewer. And when I enter, I will see here all the samples. So for example, I can select the samples from today, the sample that I already did all the analysis. And from here, I can also see in a viewer, I can see the sample motility, for example. I can open, I can see who validated this sample, and I can see the analysis, the videos, and everything from the viewer. So I can do here double click, check everything if it's correct. Okay, so I can see the video, the playing video, and all the results. So when I press close, everything it's here. The mark test that I did in the capture, the motility that I did in the capture, the morphology that I did in the scope. Okay, everything from here. Also, I can see images from here, from all the different analyses. I can have this new button that it's results by preparation. In that case, I can see all the analysis, a summary of all the analyses. And if, for example, here I use a preparation 3 hours, 24 hours, I will see the different preparations here on the top and the results for each analysis. So for each analysis, I can do all the different preparations. Okay. And finally, for example, here I have a custom report. So from the viewers, it's also possible to see the reports. Okay, this is a custom report. Remember that all the reports in SCA can be customized with your design as you want. And this is all what you can do with the new version 6.5. And I have shown an overview of all the systems that we have in MICROPTIC. I hope you enjoy the presentation. And if you have any question, you can now write on the top of your screen. You will see this button. So you can write and I can answer all your questions. Thank you very much.